Filipino documentary Food Delivery, fresh from the West Philippine Sea, has been officially cleared by the MTRCB for public screening with a PG rating. Now, previously pulled from a local festival due to unspecified external factors, the documentary centers on Filipino fishermen, the Coast Guard, and Navy operations around the Scarborough Shoal, a disputed territory within the Philippines' exclusive economic zone. MTRCB Chairperson Lala Soto Antonio said the agency supports socially relevant storytelling while ensuring content remains appropriate for younger audiences. The film recently earned international recognition, winning the Tides of Change Award at the Dock Edge Festival 2025 in New Zealand. Let's take a look at the official trailer. Joining us today to talk about that film is award-winning filmmaker Baby Ruth Villarama, director of Food Delivery, fresh from the West Philippine Sea. Good morning. Welcome to the show. Oh, grabe, ang dami palang gano'ng kadami isda sa Scarborough ba yun?
Yeah, that's Scarborough. It's very rich in marine life, and it's a real treasure.
Yung eksena na yun, talagang hinabol yung fisherman ng Chinese Coast Guard?
Yeah, Chinese Coast Guard. They've been monitoring them, and there's a certain rule that if they enter beyond the 30 nautical mile before Scarborough, then they'll be chased by Chinese Coast Guard.
Your film has caused quite the scene. It was actually pulled out. That specific film was pulled out of the festival that gave it life. And syempre, this was also protested by Chinese diplomats, particularly the showing of it, not just in the Philippines, but also in New Zealand. So what was the particular danger of showing it? I mean, here locally, first, nasa Pilipinas tayo, pero bakit kaya hindi naipalabas?
Yeah. I think there's an interesting storyline for documentary films here in the Philippines, especially independent documentaries. That they seem like powers that be are afraid to know the real truth about our people. Food delivery is made as a personal love letter to Filipino fishermen and to the country at large, and also to reach out to our friends in China to hear our side of the story. So banning it in the Philippines and censoring it, not to be seen by people, I mean, it puts you into question, who runs this country na ba? Like who? But why the influence? Of course, as a documentary journalist, you also ask this question, like, we're doing this simple story, we want to empower our people, we want to inspire them, but it seems like some sectors don't want that.
And then what happened after that? After it was pulled out from this film festival, paano kayo napunta sa New Zealand?
Siyempre, as independent filmmakers, of course, we were grieving and like, where do we go next? And then friends came in and then they said, why don't you apply to this different film festival? Of course, the film was originally designed for this local film festival, which we are so grateful because they supported the film from the start and they selected it. So I'm sure there's a reason behind an external factor.
Usually, ganyan naman yung mga tao sa mga nakakausap mo, okay naman eh. Usually, it happens at the top level,
right?
In
the top level.
When something gets asked, then hindi na naipaliwanag sa inyo kung bakit.
No, they did not give us any reason. It's just that, of course, we have to also protect the other films in that festival. So we just decided to, okay, we'll step behind.
How would you endanger these films exactly?
Because
By
there's
showing
also a
this?
possibility that the local festival might be canceled. If
If you guys pushed on.
Yeah, we guys pushed on. So that was explained to us. And of course, we don't want that to happen. And we want to champion other films and also the longevity of that local film festival that we all support din naman.
Will your film found its home in New Zealand? Congratulations, nanalo kayo ng award. What was the specific award in Doc Edge?
It's Best Picture under the
galing.
change of time. I know, we were so surprised. I mean, those films that were included in the festival, they were so amazing. From the US, from Indonesia, all the way to France. Out of, I think, more than 1,000 entries, 33 were selected. And then, we won an award, so we were very grateful.
Galing.
It's
Telling
really
the
for
story
us.
of the Filipino fishermen. How did you approach this documentary? I mean, so many stories have been told already on the West Philippine Sea. Araw-araw natin napapanood sa balita yan. Paano mo ginawa yung storytelling?
Really, for us kasi as, I guess, as independent filmmakers, we're not really bound by any corporate limitation. So we just went down to the personal. We want to capture the human side of the issue because we all see it in the news, and we want to offer something to our reporters who have been covering these stories for a long time, and watching them being chased by Chinese small vessels, militia vessels. Parang it breaks our heart also. Parang is that the way to go within our own waters? So we just went deep to the personal stories of their fisher folk, and we thought food is a common ground that we can all share. I think it's a universal feeling that everybody's craving for something good. So we just studied where is the food here. So we discovered about food security, also the voice of China, or their interest. Why are they interested in the West Philippine
Bakit nga ba?
Sea? Anong meron?
Pagkain ba?
Pagkain, economic advantage because our country is positioned very, very well strategically. As a fortress. If you look at the map, our country is like a gateway to this side of the world. So controlling the west part of our country is like being at the gate of the entire region. Yeah, trade routes and even security, maritime patrol. So and also the resources beneath the West Philippine Sea. And what we discovered, it's so beautiful. Ang ganda pala niya. It's like an explorer's dream, a billionaire's paradise. If you look at these small islands, and if you're a billionaire, you would want to buy these
small
islands.
islands na tinutukoy mo, nasang bahagi ng West Philippine Sea?
Nasa Spratly siya. So we visited 5, the Lawak, yung mga Patag.
Inisa-isa nyo?
Inisa-isa.
Ito yung may parang military outpost, ano?
Yes, kasi nag-deliver din ng pagkain doon dahil they're in the middle of nowhere. Para silang little prince na ang
What
liit.
food did you deliver to the soldiers?
Sustenance, like packs, anything that would last them for months. Because they don't know when's the next food delivery would arrive because of the situation. So,
Actually, ang hinahanap nila doon, yung mga
actually, ang hinahanap nila, panggisa,
bawang, sibuyas.
malamig na soft drinks, hindi kasi sabihin yung brand, but they're really craving for yung mga...
Lalo na puro alat.
So they want something sweet,
nila.
they want ice cream, they want something, cool, and hindi naman canned goods, but yun nga, yung siguro seafood, marami sila they can catch that fresh, but something na mamimiss sila, mga hot dogs, or Gatorade, yung mga ganun, nagbanggit na ako ng brand. So,
Tapos pumunta rin kayo sa may Scarborough Shoal, sa Baho de Masinloc.
Yeah.
Nag-deliver din kayo ng pagkain doon?
Doon naman mga fisher folks, kasi they're the one delivering food to our table. So it's important that we capture also their heroism and their silent dignity and the sacrifices that they go through for us to have fresh seafood in our table. So from ocean to table.
Kumbaga sila yung natin, parang
sila
producers of
producers,
food.
yeah.
And dito sa may Kalayaan, kayo nag-deliver. Because for people to understand, because I did not understand this until I went there myself. In the fisher folk community is most affected over at Bajo de Masinloc sa may Zambales area. Kasi yun yung malapit sa coastline na napupuntahan.
Yeah.
Pero pagdating dito sa Spratlys, actually, malayo yun eh. Yun yung disputed ng Vietnam, ng Taiwan, ng China at ng Pilipinas. And usually, the smaller fishing vessels could not make it very far. Kailangan mid-size ka or yung talagang malaking barko.
Yeah.
Kaya it's more of like yung pinaglalaban natin doon, yung mga rights natin, ano?
Rights talaga. Oo.
Oo.
Kasi once, external forces or our friends in China occupy this territory, it's so near to us, especially Scarborough Shoal. Within 14 hours, they can, land in Luzon. And they're there. Kumbaga, 2 big ships were there guarding Scarborough Shoal. And it's a sanctuary for fisher folk. Even like Vietnamese fishermen, pag naligaw sila, sabi nga nila, even though we don't understand each other's language, doon sila tatambay kasi masama ang panahon, and then nagiinuman lang sila. Pero ngayon, dahil wala na makapasok, so wala na yung friendship na gano'n. So,
Hinabol ba kayo? Because they're also very sensitive to people with cameras.
yeah.
I mean, may nagka-encounter ba kayo when you were shooting out at sea?
It's gonna be in the film, so
Hindi namin pwede sabihin. Hindi namin pwede malaman.
yeah, I would like to invite everyone. But it's in the film.
Okay,
kasi,
okay.
yeah.
Let's not reveal too much. But
Ang daming nangyari talaga. Ang
this
daming
has been
discoveries.
tagged as full of disinformation and propaganda by the Chinese side. How did you go about the truth-telling? Because apart from, you are director of Sunday Beauty Queen, which I watched, by the way, and which is spectacular. Ang ganda ng docu na yun.
Salamat po.
On the other end, you're working also as a documentarist, as a journalist, so getting the facts right is important. How did you balance all of that, the facts?
Well, we did not enter this project definitely with a naive mind. We have to know the facts, and we have to also get all sides possible and understand them. So for us, it's always a balance of information and emotions. The humanity of it, because information, that's a fact, that's our 5 W's and the H. But when it comes to emotions, we have to understand the price of what's happening, like what's at stake here, where are we at, how are we protecting our people, what is our relationship with our land. And it's all about boundaries. And it's if you watch the film, it's not about West Philippine Sea in general, but it's also a mirror of yourself. Like when somebody invades your privacy, how do you draw the line there? And who are you in the grand scheme of things? It's also about your personal identity. Reflecting. Who are you? Like, of course, we are a global country exposed to different information coming from different direction. But where do you stand? Do you accept? Do you just flow? Do you just surrender? Or do you make a stand to protect your own personal boundary? So it might be a story about the West Philippine Sea, but actually it's a story about ourselves.
And you bring it down to the personal.
We have to bring it down to the
Kasi
personal.
pagka nakikita mo kasi at hindi ka masyadong aware, parang ang overwhelming eh. Nung kwento ng West Philippine Sea, that tumitingin tayo sa dagat, napakalawak na dagat, sino ba
Layo
nag-aaway.
pa. Yeah.
Oo. Pero pagka tama ka, pagka binalik mo sa bakuran mo at may nag-trespassing, anong gagawin mo? So those are the questions that your main characters are fighting against or struggling with.
Yeah, and as audience, that's the reflection that you'd be able to get.
Pero
Hopefully.
ikaw, anong mga realization mo? I mean, syempre, kami, nasa balita kami araw-araw. Ano yung difference? Between what you were seeing on TV every day, reading in the news, and actually being there?
Ako, na-realize ko lang, our fisher folk are the wisest people. They're the wisest people we've met. Surprisingly, na-surprise ako doon. They understand the sea like no one. They know na in an hour uulan. And we're like, ang init. In an hour nga, parang, oh my God, uulan nga. And may ganun sila, like,
It's intuitive.
It's intuitive. They know the direction. They know how to protect themselves. And their life is really like a symbol of freedom. like being there, kasi tayo ang layo natin, di ba? We're in the comforts of our urban life here. But for them, the sea is life, and the sea provides so much for them. And it's this wisdom of being grateful to what they have and that kind of love that they have to their environment. Sa akin parang, wow, ito yung totoong Pilipino. And sometimes we have to remind ourselves na dapat ganito tayo. Minsan parang na-overlook natin yung mga maliliit na bagay. Pero parang pinapaalala nila na, hey, ito yung mas mahalaga sa buhay. And for us, it's a realization of, okay, we're discovering something more lasting here, and they're offering it to us. So it's not about us looking down on them or, expressing our sympathy with them, but it's them teaching us something. So yun yung parang, whoa.
How much have they been impacted by this conflict?
Oh my God, a lot. A lot. Like, they go there for 10 days, for 2 weeks, and then they go back to the shore. May mga frozen fish na almost in their expiration date, na nasa markado na. Hindi nila alam kung saan galing. And then, pagdating nila dun sa payaw nila, di ba yung payaw, they invest hundreds of thousands of pesos. Pagdating nila dun, sira na, or nawala na yung isda, may kumuha na. So, ikaw, as a person, di ba, tinanim mo yan, inalagaan mo yan, nag-out of town ka, pagbalik mo,
Pero ang
wala
kwento sa amin doon ay pwedeng ibang kapwa Pinoy din ang kumukuha, no? Kasi daw, syempre, pag may shortage.
Well, that's also what's happening because a lot of commercial vessels cannot anymore fish in the international water,
yun.
in the EEZ.
So, nag-aagawan na dito sa
Pumapasok na sa
malapit.
So, that's also what's at stake here. Nagkakaroon na ng
fighting for resources.
Yeah, inbreeding fighting, if we may call it like that. So, yun yung nakakalungkot. Kasi ang lawak-lawak ng dagat. I mean, it's so big. We can all share it. And respect lang, it's a universal law. Each country has that 200 nautical mile EEZ. Pati nga ako, parang natutunan ko na rin yan. Ang laki-laki ng South China Sea, parang why this 200 nautical mile, dito sila nagkaka-interest. At naapektuhan talaga yung mga mangingisda natin.
Pagdating sa mangingisda, nag-focus ba kayo sa Zambales? I mean, which town?
Subic, Kalapandayan.
Doon kayo.
Kasi doon sila talaga yung pumupunta talaga sa West Philippine Sea. Ng malayo. Andun yung mga payaw nila.
Gaano katagal kayo out at sea?
Like 18 hours to go there. And then, actually, yung experience to witness their traditional way of fishing, the simbada.
Yung ganon, yung may spear?
Nakita natin sa teaser.
Yun yung mismo.
That's very traditional. So, yung sinasabi ng China, no, nagda-dynamite fishing. Hindi totoo nagda-dynamite fishing. Kasi nga may payaw eh. How can you do dynamite fishing kung may mga payaw yan? Nag-invest ka. So, ang ganda lang ng sustainability model ng mga mangingisda natin.
Gusto ko sana tanongin, pero baka ma-spoil na natin yung film mo. Gusto ko malaman ano nangyari doon sa catch. But, but we will get to that in your film. You dealt with sensitivities, with the bureaucracy, of course, going through national security protocols.
Oh my God.
AFP and the Philippine Coast Guard and the Philippine Navy. Kamusta yun?
Sabi nga namin, that's another film in itself. Going through the bureaucracy, no? Parang as independent filmmakers, ikaw na yung nag-o-offer na gusto po naming tumulong sa pagtaas po ng bandila natin. Pero sila parang due to siguro may mga protocol silang fina-follow. Time is never on our side when it comes to them. We had to wait for a long time. And there came a point na yung production manager namin, parang, sir, alam ko general ka, pero kung hindi po nyo pa kami bibigyan ng permit, tatagalin na namin kayo sa kwento. Kasi buo na naman yung kwento ng mga mangingisda. But of course, we wanna recognize the service of our soldiers kasi hindi rin madali yung ginagawa nila. So, importante rin na sino ba yung mga gumagalaw sa West Philippine Sea and their personal lives. So, last minute na yon, end of January na kami nakapag-shoot. And imagine the festival, March? Tapos end of January, doon ka palang lalaot sa Spratlys.
And you had 1 hour to go around an island, tama ba?
Yeah.
Which island was this?
Lawak.
Ay, Lawak Island.
Lawak, yeah. Originally, syempre ang request 1 week para at least we can
Nakapagpag-asa
document.
din kayo?
No more na. O, talagang yung Spratlys lang. yung 5 na features
Ano yung
na island na yun.
pinakamalaking hamon, no, na na-face po ninyo dito sa pag-film nyo?
I think for us, it's really the time. Kasi, time is always your ally in documentary filmmaking. The more time you have, of course, the more
deeper the
truth,
story.
the deeper the story goes, and the more truth is revealed. Yun lang, since 1 hour lang yung binigay ng ating AFP, best effort na lang. Na-capture naman natin because we spent time dun sa ship, dun sa naval ship that we stayed on. So, dun na lang din kami nag-concentrate.
Gusto ko yung sinagot mo time, hindi cost.
Hindi ko na nga inisip yung cost. Actually, producer na yan. Sumasakit yung ulo ng producer.
Because kami usually gagawin namin, sasampa kami sa boat ng pupunta doon. Makikisakay kami. I mean, kayo, how did you go with that? I mean, with the limitations in finances, because it costs a lot to hire a ship to go out sea.
You mean with
So talagang sumabay kayo sa
sumabay kami sa Rore nila. Kaya hindi rin kami I guess it's okay.
Mission.
Sa Rore mission mismo.
Hindi naman kayo ng water cannon.
Almost, pero sige lang.
Okay, malalaman natin yan sa film.
Malalaman
Okay.
sa film.
You said that this focuses on food security. How much does the Philippines rely on the West Philippine Sea for its food? I mean, what did you discover about that particular theme?
One thing we learned is that most of the seafoods that we eat in hotels, in restaurants, here in Manila, and also the entire Luzon, like Pangasinan, Zambales, the entire Zambales, Bulacan, yung mga Pampanga, dun galing sa West Philippine Sea. So if, kumbaga, sumuko na yung mga mangingisda na ayaw na namin, so magugulat na lang tayo, hala, ba't wala na tayong seafood? So yung mga binibili natin sa Cubao, sa farmers market, doon nang
doon galing? Kasi Zambales,
Yes, yeah. Even yung sa mga Malabon, kumbaga may relationship yung mga yan eh. Nakakarating, deliver din sila as far as Cavite. So sila, kumbaga yan yung mga ports nila, yung mga merkado nila.
Okay. What is the narrative in? I mean, is it in Tagalog tapos mga subtitles na English?
Yeah, it's in English and Tagalog, Bisaya.
Then you have the people talking
They're just
for
talking.
themselves?
Yeah, no narration, no God,
Tapos
voice of God.
may subtitles na English.
Subtitle na English.
Okay. Where else could we see food delivery? Can we watch it here in local cinemas? I mean, it doesn't have to be within that festival.
Yeah.
Posible ba yun?
Yeah, that's why we're here today, because Rockwell opened its door to us.
Yes.
Thank you, Rockwell. We will have a Philippine homecoming premiere finally on July 27. So they can reach out. We'll post the details on our Facebook page, which is Voyage Studios and Voyage Film Studios Inc. on Instagram. And we're opening it to black screenings. So Rockwell, said that if there are groups...
Kailan ito?
From August 1 to 8. So
Okay,
if groups want to, do their fundraising and be show buyers, just reach out to food delivery at voyagefilm.com. And we also want to redefine how we distribute films. So we want to cater, use it for fundraising.
Pwede rin sa streaming, actually.
Pwede rin sa streaming. We submitted it to Netflix here, and I don't know,
Approve. Alam mo, isa pang idea dyan ay pwede nyo rin iikutin sa DepEd, sa schools natin, because if we're talking about educating Filipinos more on concepts in the West Philippine Sea, if you're able to break it down to the personal level, then I'm sure it will be poignant and powerful. And that is why it has made waves in the international scene. Congratulations po sa inyo. Best Picture ng Doc Edge in New Zealand. And we hope this travels far.
We hope so. This is the story of every Filipino who dares to be brave.
Without water cannons. Of course, lalaban natin. Okay, maraming salamat. We have filmmaker Baby Ruth Villarama joining us today.